All right, we are here with a Harley rider, Nick, and we're doing one single light over the top. This is the ultimate top-down light that you can get. I do a lot of top-down light over the camera, but this is straight over the top of my subject. So why would I want to do this? Well, I like the idea of taking what we'd call maybe a lighting scenario in real life that maybe isn't the most flattering light, but it can build drama. So we're going to do some pictures here. I'm going to show you how, number one, I can feather that light with my subject by moving him in and out from underneath the modifier. It is a 7-foot umbrella with a diffusion on it. The biggest challenge of this lighting scenario is getting that up on a boom. So you have to be very careful. You have a solid platform. You don't want this thing to tip over. So let's take a look at what we've got here. And Nick is all tatted up. He's a tough looking dude. And I'm kind of looking at this as maybe a scenario that if I had a movie poster that I had to do, and we're going to knock him out and put him in a background, like buildings, maybe like I Am Legend or some kind of movie poster. So again, creating light that is something that we maybe don't consider as the most flattering, but yet it's got drama, and that's what I think I'm after. So let's take a look. We'll kind of do waist up first here. All right, and we're going to have Nick kind of look up a little bit so that that is going to strike him. We're still going to get a lot of shadows. This, I tell you, this looks like Vin Diesel right here. This could be a movie poster right here. Now, I can also bring out a little bit of detail in the eyes in Photoshop, but really this is kind of, so now maybe don't look up as much, just look one right about there. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now what we're going to have Nick do is kind of keep that same pose, but now just about 8 inches back up. I'll shoot one 8 inches back up. We'll just kind of just show you what, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can try to maybe keep it the same. So now we've got 3. So now you can see as he backs up, this light starts to come around. Now we have a little bit of bounce from the floor because we have a white floor here. If I was going to only do waist up, I could put a fill in here, which would help a little bit to fill in the shadows. Or I could always take a light here and just slowly put, or just subtly put a little bit of light into him. But I think I want to just keep it dramatic with one light here. So with this right here, he's got a little bit more detail under him. So let's just take a look here. I like this. All right, now do one where you're kind of dropping your head down. Right there, that's more straight on here. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on, I love this. We're gonna come in tighter, go horizontal. So this is more of the kind of portrait I normally do right here. And then you go straight on. Yeah, I mean, this is crazy. Now his eyes, his nose, that shadow is going to go down to touch his lip. Usually I avoid that, especially when I'm doing a beauty scenario, but in this case, we're building that drama. And then here, we're gonna do this. I want you to slowly bring your head up on each shot. So let's start here. This is gonna be, let me zoom out a little bit, get your head in there. Okay, ready? So that's pretty straight on. Okay, now just bring your chin up a little bit. There's one there. A little more, and then almost like you're looking up, right there. So that'll tell you how you can feather that shadow under him just a little bit by just having his head go up and down. So we really have 2 variables that we can do here, is moving him back and forth and have his, from underneath it, and also his head going up and down to change that value. Let's go, stay where you're at there. I'm gonna back up and let's get a little more of you in here. And then I want to shoot one that's full length here in a second. So this is kind of waist up right here, right there. Okay, now let's see what that looks like. I'm going to go low and kind of ground up and do a full length here. All right, now do one where you're not looking up so much. Just try one right there. Oh, I like it, I like it. And then let's try one where you're a little more like, maybe like you're a little more, yeah, tough, a little more like I like it. And then come back into the lens, look in the lens right there. Okay, so that's full length. Now I want to move in really tight. Yeah, this is kind of cool right here. Now, look up again a little bit more right there. Yeah, a little. And then I'm going to zoom in really tight. What we've learned here is that, get an idea. What would happen if I did this? If I took this modifier and did this, then try it. See what happens. Create a look that maybe no one is doing, maybe it's different than anyone is doing. Maybe it's something you can build a body of work with. You could make a smaller modifier. You could maybe use a 60-inch type umbrella. You could use a octabox. It doesn't have to be an umbrella. It doesn't have to have diffusion. Take the diffusion off. There's all these options you can do. If I roll this whole set, we're gonna do one more shot. I'm gonna roll it out and make that background a little darker, and then see how that builds the drama too. So let's do that. So that's about 6 feet. So we just moved it 6 feet, and then that's going to make the background a little darker. So that'll make him pop a little bit more off from the background. So let's just take a look at what that does. All right, 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Now I love this value of gray. And the reason is, in Photoshop, if I can get a 50% gray background, I can attach anything I want to it texture-wise. I can even do a composite with that. So 50% gray is a great value to work with, especially when I'm doing cutouts or adding backgrounds. Now do look straight at me again. Try this one. Now bring your hands like this. I like that look a lot. Right there. Very nice. By darkening the background, I think it actually adds to the drama. Beautiful. Now come toward me a little bit, right there. And I'm just going to increase those shadows a little bit more. I love it. I like doing that side look. Do that side look again. Yeah, that's got a great look too. Now there's one other thing I can do, and that is, I'm going to go to my histogram, and the one way you can tell how to get a perfectly 50% gray value background is to take your histogram and step out for a second. You just fire on your background, and if your histogram, let's get it in here, is in it's spiked, so we're a little bit dark, but all I have to do is roll this. Let's roll it back a little bit. We'll see what happens here. Now watch this. Fire again. My histogram is getting a little bit more to the center, and I just go right about here. Should be about 50% gray by just looking at my histogram spiked in the middle. It's a little bit, it's because it's graded, so it's getting pretty close to the middle of the gray because it's not lighting it 100% evenly. But in the middle, I know that in the middle, where's my histogram? In the middle here is going to be perfect 50% gray. And then you get your subject step back in, and then I fire one off, and I should get a perfect 50% gray value for my Photoshop needs. There it is. I hope you learned something here today, and I love experimenting. I love trying. First thing you should do is ask yourself a question. What would happen if I took this modifier and did this to it? And then go and play with it.